Many are called, few are chosen, and even fewer are able to terrify entire empires into submission. Today, we shall look at 20 female warriors that did just that. Some of them were queens, some generals, while others preferred to take their chances as pirates. And then there were those who preferred to hide their identity. But one thing they all had in common was their sheer willpower, tenacity, bravery, and most importantly, martial prowess. So without any further delay, let's get started. Number 20. Tomyris of the Massagetes. The name Tomyris means Iron Woman in Greek, and it couldn't be more appropriate for someone who was able to defeat the greatest king of the Achaemenid Empire, Cyrus the Great. As the queen of the Massagetes people, Tomyris led her horse-riding tribe from Central Asia to victory in many battles. It was only when she faced Cyrus in the Battle of the River Indus that she met her match. Although defeated, Tomyris made sure to exact revenge on her enemies. She allegedly dipped her bread in the blood of Cyrus, a ritualistic gesture reserved for only the greatest of enemies. Number 19. Boudica. History remembers Boudica as the iconic warrior queen who led the Iceni uprising against Roman Britain in 60 AD. Legend has it that after her husband died, he left his kingdom to Boudica and her daughters. But when the Romans found out that the will didn't conform to Roman laws, they went back on their word and left the kingdom to Boudica's daughters. This betrayal caused the queen to lead her army in a revolt that saw the sacking of Roman cities like Camulodunum, Londinium, and Verulamium. However, the rebellion was eventually crushed by Roman general Suetonius Paullinus. Number 18. The Trung sisters. The Trung sisters need no introduction. They are national heroes of Vietnam. Both sisters were married to Chinese noblemen, but they were forced to flee to the mountains when the Han dynasty tried to make them divorce their husbands and marry Chinese princes. Once they raised an army in the mountains, they launched a full-scale war against the Chinese. Their tactics were simple. They used guerrilla warfare and hit-and-run strategies to great effect, inflicting heavy losses on the Chinese. However, their successes proved to be short-lived as both sisters lost their lives in battle. Number 17. Onna-Bugeisha. When most people think of samurai, the image of a stoic Bushido-abiding warrior comes to mind. These elite fighters weren't just men. Women also served as samurai warriors in Japan, known as Onna-Bugeisha, or women's samurai. These women were trained in traditional male-dominated arts like sword fighting, archery, horsemanship, and more. Perhaps the most famous of the bunch was Nakano Tajako. She led her troops to victory in over 200 battles and never lost a single one. Number 16. The Dahomey Amazons. The Dahomey Amazons were an all-female military regiment from West Africa. They were part of the Dahomey army and were considered some of the fiercest warriors of their time. The Amazons were mainly recruited from among slaves and prisoners of war. These women would live separate from other soldiers, having their own camps and being led by a woman general. European traders, colonizers, and missionaries were terrified of the Dahomey Amazons. They were so fierce and imposing that they became a thing of legend in Europe. Number 15. Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc is one of the most recognizable figures in world history. The French peasant girl claimed to have received visions from God telling her to drive the English invaders out of France. Not only did she rally the French army in the middle of the 100 Years' War, but she also led them to victory in several battles. Joan was eventually captured by the English and handed over to the Bishop of Beauvais, who put her on trial for heresy. After finding her guilty, the bishop handed her over to the English, who burnt her at the stake. Number 14. Artemisia, the first of Caria. Artemisia, the first, is mostly known today because of the film 300. The Spartan queen Gorgo says to her husband, Leonidas, before going to war against the Persians, "This will be a hot summer." The line was actually spoken by the historian Herodotus about the Battle of Thermopylae, in which King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans died fighting against the invading Persian army, led by Xerxes. Interestingly, it was the naval forces of the Persians, not the Spartans, that Artemisia led. She distinguished herself in the Battle of Salamis, where she commanded a fleet of 200 ships. Number 13. Cuchulainn. Cuchulainn was a warrior princess of the Mongol Empire. She was the daughter of Kaidu, a grandson of Genghis Khan. Cuchulainn was said to be undefeated in wrestling matches, even against men. As a child, she would wrestle bears and defeat them easily. Later, she went on to conquer Persia and parts of China. Her prowess in martial arts was such that her father made her the ruler of one of the Mongol Empire's most important border fortresses. Number 12. Zenobia of Palmyra. Zenobia was the queen of the city of Palmyra, which was located in modern-day Syria. During the 3rd century AD, Rome ruled over Palmyra, but Zenobia wanted more for her people, so she rebelled against Rome and declared herself the Queen of Palmyra, along with parts of Egypt and Mesopotamia. For a few years, Zenobia and her army gave Rome a hard time. She successfully challenged Rome's authority in the east and even set up her own capital at Emesa. But eventually Rome got the better of Zenobia and took her to Rome as a prisoner. Number 11. Cardamon Dua. Most of us learn about Boudica, the warrior queen of the Iceni tribe. But what if I told you that there was another British queen who terrorized Rome? Cartimandua was the queen of the Catavolani tribe in Britain. When Rome invaded the island, at first, she allied herself with the Romans, but when she felt that Rome wasn't holding up its end of the bargain, she switched sides and attacked the Romans. She led a coalition of British tribes and allies, giving Rome fits for years. Cartimandua's skills as a tactician and her ability to play Rome against her rivals earned her the title of the Fox. Number 10. Grace O'Malley. Grace O'Malley was an Irish chieftainess and pirate queen of Connaught. She lived in the late 16th century and was known as the Grandmother of the Sea. According to legend, Grace inherited her fleet from her father, who died when she was very young. She would go on to raid English shipping lanes and harass the Irish nobility who aligned themselves with the English. One time she even managed to capture a Spanish galleon full of treasure. The riches she gained through plundering enabled her to raise an army and fight the English. In return, the English retaliated by executing her son and throwing him into the sea. This enraged Grace, and she spent the rest of her life trying to take her revenge on the English. Number 9. Lozon. Lozon was a fierce Apache warrior and leader from North America. She fought against the expanding United States as it crept westward across the continent. Along with her brother, Mangus Coloradas, Lozon led her people to victory in several battles. Unfortunately, Mangus Coloradas was killed in 1872, and soon after, the U.S. government declared all Apaches as outlaws, starting the Chiricoa campaign. Even though Luzon's brother was dead, she still managed to evade the U.S. Army for 10 long years. Finally, in 1881, she surrendered, along with Geronimo. Number 8. Fu Hao. Fu Hao was a general in the army of the Shang dynasty in China. She lived in the 13th century BC and was buried with over 100 weapons. Historians believe she might have been one of the most powerful women in ancient China. According to tradition, she was the daughter of King Tang of Shang and was married to the 14th king of Shang, Wu Ding. He is said to have appointed her as a shaman and commander of his army. She helped expand the Shang dynasty's borders, conquering as many as 13 different tribes. She was also a diviner and a priestess, and the Shang kings often consulted her before going to war. Number 7. Amina of Zatsu. Amina was the queen mother of the Zatsu Empire in Nigeria. She reigned between 1533 to 1564, and during her tenure, she conquered lands as far as the Atlantic Ocean to the west and near modern Cameroon to the east. Like Zenobia, Amina also expanded her kingdom in a way that would rival Rome. She was also a skilled fighter and was once quoted as saying, "A warrior can do anything. What I love best is fighting. It is my hobby." Number 6. Queen Nanny of the Maroons. Queen Nanny is one of the most revered figures in Jamaican history. She was the wife of Akampoon, the leader of the Jamaican Maroons. The Maroons were runaway slaves who fled the plantations of Jamaica and set up their own settlements in the Blue Mountains. The British colonial authorities would try to pacify them, but the negotiations would always break down. And each time the British would attempt to subdue the Maroons, they would be taught a lesson by Queen Nanny. She led her people in guerrilla warfare, and it was only after she died that the British managed to subdue the Maroons. Number 5. Lagertha. Lagertha is a shield maiden from Norse legend. She is said to have been the daughter of a Swedish king named Siggy. Some legends say that she was the wife of Ragnar Lothbrok, the legendary Viking warrior who explored and raided vast parts of Europe and Asia. In the TV show Vikings, Lagertha is portrayed as Ragnar's equal in battle, even managing to kill 2 of her enemies in one-on-one combat. Number 4. Penthesilea. Penthesilea is yet another warrior queen from legend. She was said to be the queen of the Amazons and the daughter of Ares, the god of war. In Greek mythology, Penthesilea led her army to fight in the Trojan War. She fought against the Greek hero Achilles, and it is said that even in death, she was more beautiful than any living woman. Achilles was so taken by her beauty that he broke his promise to return her body to her people. Instead, he tied her to his chariot like a prize and dragged her behind his horses. Number 3. Mavia. Mavia was the warrior queen of Arabia. She reigned over her people from around 325 AD to 354 AD. Much like Zenobia, Mavia was constantly at war with the Roman Empire. Rome was trying to expand into Arabia, and Mavia made sure that they didn't succeed. She led several successful revolts against Roman rulers like Constantius II and Constantius Gallus. Number 2. Rani Lakshmi Bai. Rani Lakshmi Bai was the chief of the princely state of Jhansi in India. She became famous for her role in the Indian Rebellion of 1857. Herself and her husband were childless. So the British East India Company tried to forcibly annex Jhansi, but Rani Lakshmi Bai was having none of that. She led her army to attack the British, but was eventually killed in the battle. And finally, at number 1, Makuta Makeda is known today as the legendary Queen of Sheba, although historians debate whether she was real or not. According to Ethiopian and Arabic lore, Makeda was a warrior queen who repelled invading armies. She was known throughout the Middle East for her wisdom, beauty, and wealth. She visited King Solomon in Jerusalem and became his wife. In some versions of the story, she even gave birth to his son, Menelik, who later founded the Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopia. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.